Is this normal? Where are all the children? Why are parks more and more empty? The problem is nature deficit disorder, NDD. Children are spending more and more time indoors, which leads to serious health and behavioral problems. Parental fears, restricted access to natural areas, and the lure of the screen are just a few of the many different causes. NDD is not recognized by any medical manuals. However, some effects have been recorded, such as depression, ADD, obesity, and many more. Over the last 10 years, we have noticed a sharp decline in the number of children playing outside. We all grew up playing outside regardless of where we lived. There is very much concern of the very little time kids spend outdoors. NDD will keep growing if we continue to expose children to so much technology. We want to explore what can be done to encourage children to play outside and what we can do in order to prevent NDD from affecting more and more children.
We are all aware that children who spend too much time indoors are more likely to be obese and have a variety of physical problems. However, a child with NDD will also suffer psychological effects. To discuss this issue, we have interviewed the head of the psychology department at Dawson, Jonathan O'Hayan.
Being outside and benefiting from the environment naturally can only be a plus. And once again, if you take evolution, we're more in tune with nature than we are with anything that we created. We're changing lifestyle caused by technology. So now kids have access to things that they never had access to before via computer, via smartphones, via all types of portable devices. And additionally, it's at the tip of their fingertip when they want it. And as they're growing up, it seems as though the technology is growing with them. So it's sort of like being internalized.
Our children need to get fresh air in order to develop as healthy as possible. Going outside allows them to be creative, independent, and to think critically. Overall, the psychological well-being of a child is greatly dependent on the amount of time he or she is outdoors.
Society shapes their youth through education and personal actions. Whether it is adults waiting for hours outside of an electronics store for the latest technology, or schools allowing only a 15-minute recess outside, the message being sent is clear and deadly wrong. That spending time outside isn't cool nor a priority. Sociologist Annalisa Annis believes the problem of children not being exposed to nature is also rooted in children not having enough unstructured play.
Society needs to encourage kids to have more imaginative time and time to actually figure out what they want to do with their day, rather than putting limits on them in terms of homework, that sort of thing.
Schools don't put enough emphasis on the outdoors. Most schoolyards are covered in cement and not grass. Practice for sports is done inside, and nowadays the use of technology is mandatory for homework. The media advertises new technology as well. It is common for a parent to splurge on a new gadget or for a family to have dinner in front of the television.
And right now, we are eating dinner and watching TV.
A report recently issued by the American Academy of Pediatrics states that on average, children who use computers start doing so by the age of 3. Technology generates a greater attraction than nature.
And the attraction of playing video games and playing with media online or with computers indoors it's attractive to parents because parents are busy, so it's easy. And I think it's also attractive to the kids because there's a new book by, I'm forgetting her name right now, called Reality is Broken, where she says that basically the world that's created in virtual reality is far more attractive to kids than the real world, because they get dealt a situation and are asked to do things that are very, very appropriate to their age, and they feel empowered because of it.
Furthermore, not being exposed to the outside results in elements of social interactions being impaired. Studies done by Dr. Thomas Robinson from Stanford University School of Medicine show that limiting screen time reduces weight gain, aggression, and consumer behaviors in children. So why not spend your free time benefiting from the outdoors and not in front of a screen?
Parents play a role when it comes to the amount of time their child spends outside, and even influence their child's decisions to want to be outside. They try to protect them from harm, but they are actually hurting their kids.
I
definitely we play a big role. We don't take the time with our kids to go play outside because we think that there are other more important things to do. And weekends we're busy doing all kinds of things. So maybe we should look at our priorities.
Parents protect their kids, discourage them to go out in bad weather, and don't go out themselves, showing an example to their children. The house is filled with all kinds of gadgets, making kids want to stay in because the activities inside are cooler.
As a parent, I think that one has to come to terms with their fears of your kid being abducted or this happening to your child, and it's hard to do.
Parents must encourage their kids to spend as much time outside as possible. They should encourage outdoor play, plan outdoor activities, camping trips, days at the beach, at the park, scouting. It doesn't matter. Being outside is important.
I think to encourage your kids to be outside more, certainly I think it starts very young with parents doing activities with their kids outside. Going for walks, going on the mountain, going skating in the winter, going cross-country skiing. But that starts very early on. You don't really start that when your kid is 10 or 12. You start that when your kid has to sit in the bike behind you, and they learn. And that's a good way to do things.
Now that we've seen all three aspects as to why children spend less time outdoors, we can all come to a conclusion together. We must find a way to spend more time outside. Young and old, encourage one another, and create activities to make outside more fun than inside.
Have fun!